A very good evening to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is 23rd September 2021, Thursday class. We will revert back to our sharing from this book, The Essence of Infinite Meanings, teachings from the adapted verse of the Sutras of Infinite Meaning, Wu Liang I Ching. Just relax body and mind and maintain some form of attentiveness or attention. We all, as usual, have our half an hour of awareness-based meditation. We are off the light, then you can all proceed with your awareness-based meditation. Remember the four support. Relax, maintain awareness, then sustain the awareness for as long as you can. Then the last one is trust. Trust your nature to develop the movement of the meditation. Don't go and interfere with the thought. Okay, I will let you all proceed with the meditation. Then I will set the alarm for 30 minutes. Remember, just relax body and mind completely. Then silence your mind. Don't try to do anything. Don't try to know. Just have to maintain awareness. Then relax into every mind state that arises. Whatever that arises, let it be. Aware, finish. Aware, finish. Until your mind becomes very quiet. Then stay with whatever object of meditation you are familiar with. Or if you are able to maintain awareness using anapanasati, you stay there. Then later on, if it brings you down to the heart, you can stay at the heart. For those who have already developed the meditation, if you already have the sati or awareness, then you can straight away silence your mind, relax body and mind, and feel your heart area. Your heart area is the most important meditative area. This is the location where your life force arises and passes away. That life force is what your heartbeat is all about. So the pulsation, the heartbeat, and whatever movement or vibration that you can detect around the heart area, silence your mind and just stay aware of whatever that you can detect. It can be your heartbeat or your whatever vibration. Just silence everything and stay with it until it becomes very quiet, very still. If you can anchor your mind there, it cannot think. Then when your mind can stay there, it will stabilize your awareness. Without thought, you are already aware. So if you can stay there and maintain awareness of the heartbeat or whatever movement until this movement becomes very quiet, very still, then you will experience the silence, the shift of consciousness. All of a sudden, you become very quiet, very still. Okay, I will let you meditate on your own. Knowing that time passes quickly like flowing water, with the urgency that one whose eyebrows are on fire would use to put out the flame, we diligently contemplate wisdom and constantly uphold the teaching. With compassionate wisdom, we adapt to the times and go into the community. We develop sympathy for all sentient beings. We give rise to courage when facing all possibility of phenomena. Those who uphold this sutra have no thought of fear. Therefore, they should, or they can shoulder, the Tathagata's family enterprise of helping sentient beings escape the cycle of birth and death. Although they have not yet delivered themselves, they can already deliver others. So that is the adapted verse. So we will go on and read the commentaries. Samantabhadra Bodhisattva's admonition states. So Samantabhadra Bodhisattva is actually our Pusian Pusa. We have another name, which is the Pali name. The Mahayana name is Pusian. So this one is about Samantabhadra Bodhisattva's admonitions. It states, with each passing day, we draw closer to death. So this is a good reminder. We are like fish in a shrinking pond. What joy have we? Like water draining away. The day continue to pass by quickly, and our lives grow shorter with the passage of time. Like fish in a rapidly dwindling pond, how can we feel joy? Therefore, we must all remind ourselves to be vigilant. We must not think that with each year that passes, we are 1 year older. Instead, we must be aware that each day that passes, we have one fewer day to live. So this one points towards the urgency of cultivation. You cannot take life for granted. If our hair or eyebrows were on fire, the time which we would have to put out that fire would be very short and precious. We should feel the same about our life. So everything we want to do must be done promptly. We must seize every moment to engage in spiritual practice and diligently contemplate wisdom. To be diligent, we must be focused and not scattered. Work hard and not be lax or lazy. Then we will always mindfully engage in contemplation and cultivate our wisdom. As we engage in spiritual cultivation, once we hear a good teaching or principle, we should constantly uphold it. We have to make an effort to uphold and practice it every single day. Confucius said, when we learn something good, we must apply it diligently. So this is good advice. In addition to upholding it ourselves, we must also share it with others. Then with compassion and wisdom, we adapt to the time and go into the community. We must go among the people and apply our compassion and wisdom according to the situation and the timing. When we see people who are afflicted or people whose thinking have begun to go astray, we must quickly guide them. This is how we can all help each other, purify our mind, awaken, and eliminate ignorance through our interaction or relationship. For instance, there is a married couple who are Tzu Chi's volunteer in Taipei. They had operated a toy factory for many years. Due to oversight of a factory worker, the building caught fire and burned for 36 hours, causing major damage. Fortunately, everyone was safe and the fire did not spread to nearby factories or neighboring houses. After the fire, the couple felt no resentment and had no complaint. They even expressed their gratitude to the firefighters for coming so quickly to extinguish the fire. They also thanked the Tzu Chi volunteer who accompanied them to call on their neighbors and who helped to clean up the factory. At the time of the fire, although they were frightened, they were able to quickly apply the simple teaching of the Dhamma that they have taken to heart. They recall what I had said. Worldly assets never belong to us. They are collectively owned by the five groups. So we'll go to the notes, note 53. The meaning of the phrase under note 53 is collectively owned by the five groups means is that worldly wealth actually belonging to five groups: the rulers, the thief, the fire, water, and wasteful children. Because of this, wealth cannot be claimed to be owned by one person, and therefore people should not vie with each other to claim it. See the great treatise of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. Although wealth brings joy, it is also impermanent and collectively owned by the five groups. It leads people's mind to wander and be unsettled. So this is what they call maybe the Mahayana way, or the traditional Mandarin speaking people's way of putting it. Means everything you own belong to these five. These five, if you go through, you will understand. First group is the ruler or king or the government of the day. So this one, if they want to seize upon your wealth, they can, or they use the law to actually confiscate your wealth, or nationalize your wealth. Then the other one is thief. They may steal from you. The other one is destruction by fire or flood, water. Or finally, you will leave your wealth to your wasteful children. So these are the five possibilities. So finally, you don't own. They don't belong to you. But a better way to reflect on it is the law of karma. Like the Buddha says, separation is a reality. Finally, we don't own anything. There are causes and conditions for their arising. And there are causes and conditions for their separation too. So if you have the Dhamma, you will know the appropriate causes and conditions for all this wealth and property to actually arise in the proper way, so that there is no karmic implication or karmic negativity behind the arising. Then you can make use of it with your wisdom, your understanding, following the Dhamma way. Then you don't have to lose your wealth to all these things. The first thing that you can do is, like the Buddha said, develop the joy of having this understanding that you have earned this wealth in the righteous way, following the Dhamma way. So the happiness of the proper ownership or possession of this legal righteous wealth, or what we call properly acquired or received wealth. Then when we make use of this wealth for the good of our own family members, for ourselves, for our loved ones, and to help others, for society, environment, every maybe living beings, including non-humans or animals and other things. So you can make offering, donation, help out in disaster, because you have the wealth, you have the means. So these are ways to use them. So you use it for the happiness of yourself, your family members, your relative, or whomever you have relationship with, even your good friends, and humanity, mankind, society, or whatever. So these are wholesomeness that can arise. So it need not fall into these five groups. Then the other one is to pay off your debt, free of debt. Then finally, of course, you have the means and the wealth, live a blameless life. So these are the four types of happiness that a lay people or lay person can have. Then this is proper usage of the wealth. And when it comes to offering donation, there are 3 levels or 3 types of dana parami that you can develop. First is offering of materialistic wealth. That one you can donate to many type of condition or situation or even organization. So that one, it can be like to help the needy and also to contribute towards certain type of organization that arises because they want to help the poor, the masses, people who are less fortunate. And you can also donate to the spiritual centers or way place. So for us Buddhists, it can be any of these Buddhist society or Buddhist temples or Buddhist way place. Then there are many other possibility of offering and donation. It depends on your understanding and your affinity. Then apart from that, you can also plan your life in such a way that before you pass away or what, you want to set out a foundation to do certain goodness, you can. Like some of the very wealthy people, Bill Gates Foundation, they have their foundation. Then even our local entrepreneur, some of the Tansri, especially Tansri Vincent Tan, which you heard of before, he also have a foundation. And Robert Kwok also has their foundation. And many of these wealthy people, they have their foundation to do goodness and all those things. Then whatever you want to leave behind for your siblings or your children or your whoever who have affinity with you, you can make that decision. And you can also contribute to a certain type of organization that are very useful. So all these are the possibility of management of those wealth that comes through proper means. So not necessarily this 5 group that they mentioned. These are for people who don't have the understanding. And when you reflect on the law of karma, you know you have got your wealth or your whatever business and asset through the improper means. It will get stolen or destroyed. Yeah, this is the law of karma. You reap what you sow. To good begets goodness, to evil begets evil. You cultivate wholesomeness, you will reap the fruit of wholesomeness. So all these are very clear. So a very good way is to have this right view with regards to the law of karma. Then we will know how to develop the cultivation and we will know how to plan our life. Like what the Buddha said, we are all born of our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma. And we are what we are because of karma. So we choose to take care of karma. Your karma forms such an important role in one's life. So how to take care of karma? Follow the advice of the Buddha, avoid all evil, do good. That's why we need to cultivate and meditate to purify our mind. Unless we do this, we cannot take care of karma. And the most important thing is, of course, to keep your precept. This is how you prevent or avoid evil, to prevent your karmic downfall. So these are the understanding that we have to apply so that our life will be beautiful, meaningful, so that we can have the noble understanding of what life is. Okay, we go back to the notes. By reminding themselves of this, they were able to put their mind at ease. Afterwards, they did not blame the careless employee and instead forgive him with an open heart. In the face of impermanence, their thoughts remain simple and pure, because they had realized that all material things go through the four-phase cycle of formation, existence, decay, and disappearance. The other more easier to understand words are the arising phase. So there are causes and conditions for every phenomenon to arise. That as it arises, it will grow. So here, existence, they are actually referring to the growth phase. The growth phase. Then it decay. Then it disappear. So the arising phase, the sustainment of it, means the growing phase, the decaying, and the cessation. So this four-phase cycle is very common. Or in the example that we have given earlier on or previously, the human body is a very good example. When we are born into this world, there is this birth phase. After birth, we grew up into a child, then later on into an adult or youth. Then from the adult phase, we start to age. Then after you age, you die. That's why birth, growth, decay, and death. So these are all the four-phase cycle, very typical, and you see them almost everywhere. So when we understand this, we will not attach, we will not cling. Well, every phenomenon has this four-phase cycle. Some are shorter. That's why you cannot see so clearly unless you are mindful in a way. Some you only see the arising and ceasing, birth and death. And some, because it's very transient, it arises, exists, and ceases. So the growth and the decaying phase, most people don't see. So all this depends on your stability of mindfulness, sensitivity of mind. If you have trained very well, you will have the ability to observe all this and understand all this. Then you will understand why the Buddha described the phenomenal world as impermanent, because it's condition arising, causal phenomenon. When condition arise, thing arise. Then when condition cease to be, it cease to be. That's why it's impermanent. It come and it go. The birth and death of a phenomenon. The arising and passing away of your feeling, your thought, your aggregates of mind. You can see them. These are the universal characteristics. So when it comes to universal characteristics, some phenomena are very short, and you can see the two-phase, birth and death, arising and passing away, like the footstep, birth and death, arise, cease, then the next footstep. Your breath also the same, your pulse of life, your heartbeat, everything is the same. Your thought process, your feeling, your consciousness, your perception, they come and they go, the birth and death. So these are very clear when you are mindful, observant, when you are aware within. Okay, I'll read on. This event inspired them and strengthened their resolve to seize the time they had to diligently cultivate the Dhamma. Their wisdom in being understanding inspired their employee to feel deep gratitude towards them and to work harder to help rebuild the business. Now the business at the new factory is better than ever. This is a positive result that comes from having an open heart, loving thought, and great compassion. So this is a good example, because when things happen already, no point becoming miserable over it. No point blaming, no point grieving, no point creating the wrong thought or to blame the employee. If he had not done this, this would not have happened, then all this cannot happen. But that is not a reality. The word "if" itself points towards the unreality. The reality is happened already. If you want to do something, you have to mitigate it. You have to learn from it. All these are coming behind. That's why if we have the understanding, we will not be deluded, heedless, deceived. We will know how to attend to a situation and a so-called problem. Because whatever that have already happened, you can't change. That is the reality. Accept and reflect, contemplate, then move. Move means with clarity of mind, because when you accept, you don't react, you don't become unhappy, miserable, no evil root. Then with that clarity of mind, you ask yourself, what happened? What else can I do to resolve this amicably? Then you recall the teaching. The Buddha taught Noble Eightfold Path. He said, you cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path, it will lead to the end of all suffering. So Noble Eightfold Path is the meditation, is the answer, is the solution. That is how you act. Act with Noble Eightfold Path. Act following the Dhamma way, the wisdom way. So when you have all this understanding, you will become beautiful. So that's what they did. They accept, then with an open mind, with a good heart, then with the Dhamma, they actually rebuild the whole thing. Yeah. And they do it with such grace and understanding. That's why their example inspired the employees. And the employees feel deep gratitude towards them. That's why they work harder to help rebuild their business. And because of that wholesome mind state, no negativity, it will turn around and be a blessing in disguise. Then things recover and become even much better. Okay, we'll read on. The Buddha comes to the world to compassionately transform sentient beings, because he treats all sentient beings as his only son. So when he sees them experience suffering and hardship, he has compassion for them. Since we have vowed to draw near to the Buddha's heart, we must also make a great vow to develop sympathy for all sentient beings. In addition, while learning the Buddha's way, we cannot deviate from the Dhamma. The Buddha's teaching can enable us to realize all principles and bring us peace and freedom. Thus, they help us develop diligence and give rise to courage when facing all phenomena. This is why those who uphold this sutta have no thought of fear. If we understand all the principles in the Sutra of Infinite Meaning, we will be fearless and able to calmly move forward on this noble path or broad path. By understanding the Buddha's teaching, mastering our courage, and transcending our fear, we can shoulder the Tathagata's family enterprise of helping sentient beings escape the cycle of birth and death, is samsara. This great vow is similar to the founding principle of Tzu Chi's mission of charity, which is to put the teaching into practice so that we can relieve the suffering of sentient beings. When we encounter people who are hungry, cold, poor, homeless, alone, etc., we extend a helping hand without hesitation. When natural or man-made disasters strike, we act to provide relief in effective and practical ways. So altogether, they have not yet delivered themselves. So although they have not yet delivered themselves, they can already deliver others. So this is the phrase from the adapted verse. Even if we are still ordinary sentient beings, if we can realize the Buddha's intent in making great vow, we can slowly draw near to the Buddha's heart. With a Buddha mind, we can shelter sentient beings and shoulder the Tathagata's mission. Although we have not yet delivered ourselves, we can still make the great vow to deliver ourselves and others. The Buddha Dharma is the method for delivering sentient beings. If we accept the Buddha, the Dharma, it is as if we have been given a boat. Not only can we cross the ocean or sea of suffering ourselves, but we can also ferry people to the other shore. So this is just an analogy. Seek the Buddha's path to enlightenment and unsurpassed bodhi. Shoulder and carry out the 4 missions and 8 footprints in this world. Witnessing suffering to recognize blessing is spiritual nourishment for our wisdom life. So this one is very true. You must witness suffering to recognize blessing. Otherwise, you will not have gratitude and recognize blessing. Normally in cultivation, this is the first thing I came to realize too. You will have a lot of gratitude towards what your good karma is. That you are indeed very blessed. So this ability to recognize is through a mind that has witnessed a lot of suffering of humanity in the world. Then when you realize that your life is not so bad relatively, especially you have your past cultivation, then you look back like you are really blessed. So this is the first thing that will happen to a cultivator. Able to witness suffering, to recognize blessing, is really spiritual nourishment for our wisdom life. And I fully agree with this sentence. With each steady step, follow in the footsteps of the Buddha. With all Bodhisattvas as your spiritual family. So this one is very important. With each steady step, follow the footsteps of the Buddha, and with all Bodhisattvas as your spiritual friend or spiritual family, Kayamitas. The Buddha Dharma is to be applied in daily life. This is very true, we all know. Life itself is the place where we can really develop wisdom and understanding. So life itself is meditation. So that Dhamma water will flow forever and bring purity to people's heart. It's only in life that we can interact with the world, with environment, with everything. And when we apply the Dhamma in daily life, so that Dhamma water will flow forever and bring purity to human mind or people's heart. This is a very good adapted verse. Then we read on. What Buddhist practitioners are seeking is the state of the unsurpassed Bodhi or Supreme Universal Perfect Enlightenment, which is the Buddha's enlightenment nature, with Sammasambuddha nature. Although all sentient beings have the same enlightened nature as the Buddha, but normal sentient being is covered by ignorance and confusion. So they are completely unaware of it. Therefore, we must seek the Buddha's path to enlightenment and unsurpassed Bodhi. We must seek the Buddha's teaching so that we can reflect on ourselves and find out or find our own true nature. That's why those who really have the understanding, they will tell you, you have to seek your own true nature. You cannot realize your own true nature, you cannot develop the wisdom, the enlightenment, the awakening. So all meditations start from realizing your true mind or your true nature. I will read on. However, we sentient beings have many afflictions. The Buddha comes to the world to open up a broad and bright path to enlightenment in the hope that this path can be extended to all parts of the world, inspiring loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity in sentient beings. He wants those who have awakened earlier to help those who were awakened later with the path that the awakened themselves have realized. They can teach and transform others in the world. The diligent path of the Jingsi Dhamma lineage and the road of working with others of the Tzu school of Buddhism are both aligned with the Buddha's path to enlightenment. So we shoulder and carry out the four missions and the 8 footprints of this world. So the four missions are the mission of charity, medicine, education, and humanistic culture. All took shape over a long period of time, across vast distance of space, and through the interaction and efforts of many people. Later on, international disaster relief, bone marrow donation, community volunteerism, and environmental protection were added to form the 8 footprints. So apart from charity, they come out with all this. So which is very good. International disaster relief, bone marrow donation, then community volunteerism and environmental protection were added. So these form the 8 footprints of the Tzu Jingsi mission. Everything that we do is for the sake of transforming sentient beings in the world. Why did the Buddha give up his life in the palace, where he saw the suffering of sentient beings in the world and recognized his own blessing? So witnessing suffering to recognize blessing is spiritual nourishment for our wisdom life. Actually, for the Bodhisattva, the reason why he left the palace is when he saw the 4 signs. The 4 signs are actually, the first 3 are part and parcel of human reality, which is old age, sickness or disease, and death. Then the last one is a samana, a cultivator, a spiritual practitioner. Then when he understands what this means, then he realized he has a problem. And so straight away he wants to renounce the world to seek answer to his problem, to overcome old age, sickness, and death. Because initially he thought the physical body that he was in is real, belong to him. Then he will have problem because he will grow old, get sick and die. Well, everybody who goes through life long enough will have to confront this reality. That's why he knew all the joy, the happiness, and the beautiful condition that he had has no meaning when he has no answer to these 3 realities of life and existence: old age, sickness, and death. That's why he left. Then I will read on. So witnessing suffering to recognize blessing is spiritual nourishment for the wisdom life. This one we have covered. By understanding the truth of suffering, we understand the principle of transcending the world. To cultivate the way of transcending the world, one must let go of all worldly attachment, which is attachment to wealth, fame, and so on. As a monastic, by living with just 3 articles of clothing and an alms bowl, one can liberate oneself from the bond of material things. So we must be frugal and live a simple life while we engage in spiritual practice. When we see suffering in the world, we will give whatever materialistic good we have, holding nothing back. Because compared with those who are impoverished or suffering, our lives are quite abundant. We have to always remind ourselves that we do not have permanent ownership of our life, only the right to use it. So there is no need to take issue over anything. If instead we do everything in our power to help others, even when we fall into hard times, we will continue to nourish our wisdom life. With each steady step, follow in the footsteps of the Buddha. However the Buddha walked this path, we must do the same. In addition, purifying our mind and body and eliminating all defilement, we must also expand our compassion and great love. This compassion is the enlightened love of an awakened being. In addition to making vows to transform sentient beings in this lifetime, we should vow to continue to transform them and give of ourselves out of great love in our next lifetime. Then instead of limiting the scope of our love to ourselves and to our family, we will also be able to universally love every sentient beings and everything in this world. Thus, we will have all Bodhisattva as our spiritual family. If everyone around us shares the same aspiration of walking on the Bodhisattva path, we are all companions in spiritual practice and a part of one big spiritual family. So this is about the Kayana community. By applying the Buddha Dharma in this world as our Bodhisattva practice, we can serve as role model. So the Buddha Dharma is to be applied in daily life or daily living. One way of applying it is by developing our character and cultivating a dignified demeanor. This one is very true. If your cultivation don't bring about the change in your personality and character, then you have to check your cultivation. It should be changed for the better. You must reflect your virtue, your understanding, your love, your kindness, your gentleness. All of this virtue, they will surface in the enlightened being. For example, during Tzu Chi volunteer training, everyone learned to develop their mindfulness. See, the stress is on mindfulness. Through learning the proper way to hold a bowl and eat, to lift a glass and drink from it, to wear their clothes neatly, to walk properly, and so on. All of these are part and parcel of our daily living. So this is training yourself in daily mindfulness, which is very good. If we can practice the Buddha Dharma in this way, in this everyday task, if we learn to interact with people and handle matters while remaining contented, grateful, having understanding and accommodating, if we cherish our blessing by creating more blessing, then the Dhamma water will flow forever and bring purity to people's hearts. So this will take place. As we often say, the Dhamma is like water. It through our thoughts and action, we continue to bring purity to people's mind. With clear Dhamma water of the Dhamma teaching, we can help everyone step into the path of enlightenment. So we will stop here. I will mark this page. So now we will open up for meditation reporting.
I think I report a bit of what I've been doing
Good. Sadhu.
past week.
Yeah,
Okay. Diligently catching up with the Dharma.
Sadhu. Sadhu.
Reviewing all the, listening to all the past sharing and all that.
Sadhu. Oh, this
And
is very good.
trying to summarize whatever
Sadhu. Sadhu.
good sharings that
Yeah.
I can pick up.
Yeah, sadhu.
Because during one of the sharing by Brother Song,
Yeah.
I remember that you reminded him that no doubt we do reflection and contemplation when we come to a situation where we somehow we know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
It could be through reflection and contemplation that we react as what we did.
Correct.
But you keep reminding that Yoniso Manasikara is something that prompts you before you even react.
Correct. So that will be the immediate one. That one you must have it first. Means you must have reflected, contemplated, have the stability of the understanding. Then that one is actually developed and connected to your form and mind. That's why when the form and mind experience a sense experience, if you already have the Yoniso Manasikara, it will surface and prompt you. And that Dhamma will not allow you to stir and react and behave the old way. Then you will have the wisdom. You will act following that Dhamma way, which is the understanding that you already reflected and contemplated or insight into and awakened to. Yeah, you are correct. Very good. Very beautiful.
It's because I still keep doing my Bodhisattva vows.
That one very beautiful, very important. Yes.
And still the same things happen.
No problem. Because as you do, you will see all this more and more clearly. Then you will understand why it's still there. It doesn't mean that there is no improvement or understanding. The improvement and the understanding will come later because these are some of the habitual tendencies that are still there. And to root out habitual tendency take a while. Even the church's abbot, Zhen Yan Fashi, she also know habitual tendency are very difficult to root out. It doesn't mean that once you have the Yoniso Manasikara, this one will not arise. This one can still arise, but when it arises, immediately the Yoniso Manasikara will surface and prompt you. Understand? It will prompt you. Then when it prompts you, you will know how to act. Means stabilize already. But if it doesn't prompt you, means not stable enough yet. That's why you can still do that. But immediately after that, the understanding should be there already. Then of course you will say, I still react. It's not I. It's the form and mind. Because the sense thought are there. It's just like when you walk by certain environment where you can smell maybe the very smelly smell or foul smell or whatever smell. Understand not? But there is a condition. You got no choice. The smell will come. Then whether you react or you don't react depend on your wisdom. Because like I always share with you all, you got two choices. Accept the reality with wisdom and move on. Means with the understanding, you feel that maybe we call it smell consciousness. It arises. But the way you perceive it is so different already. You do not react to it anymore. You accept the reality because the condition is there. You are nearby. Then as a form and mind, you will smell it. So this one need a lot of understanding, cultivation, stability, or wisdom. So that one cannot surface until that Yoniso Manasikara is very still. Otherwise, if you don't believe me, you go and try. It will stir. Then after that only you try to reflect and contemplate. But after I went through that cultivation, I realized when that understanding is there, it will not happen. It cannot happen at all. Where the form and mind already have that type of understanding and it is so stable, sometimes it just laugh at what happened. Where that reality is the reality. That's why I always use this word. We choose accept everything as nature's condition or everything as natural, like what my teacher told me, Ajayantra. We choose accept everything as natural or nature's condition. It's condition like that, things will be like that, like what the Buddha mentioned. So this understanding will stabilize. Then you will smile. You will accept the reality. So what? You complain also no use. Condition like that, things will be like that. That's why we are taught under the Salika Sutra. You need to avoid, you avoid. That's why avoidance. When people react, you don't react. People stir your mind, become unhappy, you don't. Because one leads to even path, one leads to uneven path. You will know. That's why the avoidance is to be applied with this understanding. Can understand, huh, PJ? So don't worry about that because you are now starting to zoom in on the cultivation, like what earlier on Brother Song went through. Because before you have all this ability to understand all this, you don't even have a chance to understand all this. You never go into the cultivation. So now, because you see all this so beautiful and you understand its beauty, that's why you start to do all these things, like what Song used to do. Starts to listen to all the sharing again. Then starts to write down, like what NB they all did, yeah? All the important pointers and all those things. Then you start to reflect and contemplate. Then starts to develop the Yoniso Manasikara. The Yoniso Manasikara, the cultivator will come to know. Because later on, when something arises, you realize you cannot stir and react already. Then that thing will prompt you and you will understand. Then from there, you just smile and move. Nothing else. Then as you stabilize this, it becomes more and more stable, more and more, until one day you realize all rooted out already. No more already. It cannot come back to you already. Yeah. So that is the final stability. Yeah. But before that, you still have a form in mind. It's just like I told you just now. It's all dependent originating condition arise. So this form in mind is just like the physics experiment. You on the switch, the light bulb will light up. So when the light bulb lights up, when the mundane mind become conscious, you act according to memory, then all the rubbish go in. That's why acting according to memory is not acting at all. Well, what is memory? Memory is the accumulation of our experiences, good and bad, including our phobia, our scars of memory, our whatever fear, worry, anxiety, insecurity. So all this, if you use that as the basis of your action, you are not acting at all because you are not acting according to the Dhamma way, the wisdom way, following Noble Eightfold Path. That's why to act, you don't go to memory. To act, you must have the wisdom to prompt you. So that one will surface. So when that one surface, you become very different. And that one need to be stabilized. You don't believe me, you go and check. Most of the time, even until now, most of you will still refer to memory first. And the memory will try to recall what did the Dhammas say, what did the Buddha say, what did Brother Theo say, how should I act? This one is the thought. Again, this phase you have to go through. You have to go through. Then as you go through, you develop clearer understanding, more and more stable understanding. Then the stability of the understanding will slowly transform you without you knowing it. Then one day, suddenly you realize you are no longer like before. You cannot stir, you cannot react, you cannot do all those things because the wisdom that come to prompt you, which is the Yoniso Manasikara, is now so clear, so stable. Thing is just the way it is, even this sentence, so clear. We choose accept everything as natural, so clear. Straight away you will not react anymore. But this is nature, the reality. I accept and I move. And how do you move? No way for power. You will have all this understanding and it will actually guide you along. And you will have joy because you will not cling. You know there is no mark of a self, no mark of others, no mark of living beings, and no mark of Dhamma, life, existence. So that one, the no mark, need a long time to realize and to stabilize. So not until that one become very clear, living being will be caught in delusion, in Sakaya Ditti. So that Sakaya Ditti is not easy to root out. So to root out that one, you need to reflect, contemplate, silence your mind through the third turning, awaken. Then once all this fall into place and develop that stability, you become very different. That's how it will happen, PG. So take note of all those things. So this one will help a lot of other Kayamita too. So you can continue to describe. You say sometimes it still disturb you or stir you or make you affected. But don't worry. This is part of the way. You have to go here. Yes.
Brother, sorry, I didn't put it properly when I said that sentence.
Oh, okay.
But what you shared was actually very good. I will definitely take note of this because I am trying to cultivate that way.
Good.
Because when I do my bodhisattva vows, especially when I all vows itself,
yes,
the third vow, this nature of mind vows to cultivate and with all Dhamma to realize the perfection of
perfection of wisdom. Yes,
the heart stirs very, very strongly,
Sadhu to you.
I somehow have to do something.
Yeah, that is the answer that I was trying to tell you. You have to perfect all wisdom.
I that's why I chose to spend more time on the Dharma. And also to strengthen my 5 spiritual faculties and Noble Eightfold Path. I feel that these are the starting points that I have to strengthen and to stabilize before I can go much further.
Sadhu. And you will progress very fast. After this, you will move very fast. Sadhu to you. Yeah. To come to this point with this understanding is not easy. That's why you have your condition, your affinity, and your past. All these are coming back to you. That's why you know how to move. You know how to develop the cultivation on your own, which is very different from what others have shared and reported. Where yours is based on that strong, very strong, what they call mind. Your mind is very strong. When you understand something, you determine it will materialize, it will be fulfilled, it will happen. But like I say, means he is directed towards the negative one, also become very strong. So that one, I think now you got no more problem. But before the Dhamma come in, that is the danger that your character and your nature pose to you. So now no more. Now it's beautiful. It's taking you along. Sadhu, PJ. Very good.
Yeah, I hope that I can use the
Oh,
strong
now you can use that resolve to
the
help you
strong will
move.
that I have,
Yes.
which I've used it for, of course, my career life, which
Yes, yes, yes.
Have have actually helped me a lot,
Yeah.
actually,
Yes,
to achieve what
definitely.
I have achieved. Yeah.
Definitely.
So I will have to use this
Yeah.
the Dharma way.
Yeah. Otherwise, when you did the third basic vow of the Bodhisattva, inside there cannot move like that. For it to move like that means you have that past, that very strong mind that enable you to actually develop that movement to understand the importance of perfection or wisdom, and you will go all out to do it. That's why you know how to develop the cultivation, like you mentioned. You focus on the strengthening of your spiritual faculty, cultivation of noble eightfold power, until it becomes very stable, until all this understanding is there. And this is what the perfection of wisdom is all about. Wisdom can never be perfected unless your spiritual faculties are very stable, become balanced. So spiritual faculty enable one to understand spiritual teachings. So without the stability of spiritual faculty, you can't move. And when your spiritual faculty is very stable, you are always in the meditative state. That's why the cultivation of noble eightfold power will be there. And based on what you describe, you are beautiful. You really got all the understanding to move, which is most beautiful. Sadhu to you, Vijay.
It to me it's such a great opportunity, Bratio. At
Yeah.
this time of my life, I have all the conditions now,
Yes,
and partly because of MCO, we
yeah,
can't go
correct.
many places.
Yeah,
So I will use this opportunity as best as I
yes,
can,
yes.
to deepen my cultivation in a way,
Yes,
and especially with Brother Teo's guidance, how can I not say?
yeah,
How can I not use this
yes.
opportunity?
Your nature will see all this because you have the understanding already and your past help you. That's why people now, they don't understand. They complain, work from home, cannot go here, cannot go there. But for you, you are actually taking it very well. It's like a blessing in disguise for you. It's cultivation from home, understand? No need to work because of the pandemic and all those things. Even if you had to work, you work from home. That's why now you have the luxury of full time going into all this. And you have come to realize that all this cultivation is so useful. It can help you understand life, can help you improve your life, your career, or whatever you are doing. And the Dhamma is so important, so beautiful. So all these understandings will actually develop a type of energy to move you, and you will be able to cultivate very, very well through all this understanding. And your movement, it will take you along. Together with the Bodhisattva vow. That's why once you start the Bodhisattva vow based on what you have described, only the last few months it has actually connect you back very strongly, because of your condition. Everything is ready. That's why it fall into place. So like what I used to share, you never know your potential until the time come when the condition fall into place. Then when you determine, just like what happened to Pocheng, when he see the urgency of cultivation and he determine and follow everything that I shared, then he one by one he do it. The Bodhisattva vow, all those like daily mindfulness, religious routine, everything she follow, she do. Then she make aspiration, then she listen to Dhamma, then she put them into practice and she meditate. That's why the sati came, the nature actually connect. And a lot of things happen. After that, she understand my teaching on her own very fast. Just like your case, after you have gone through all those, the initial training, everything, then the time come, you connect, you move very fast. Yeah. So people like you all now is actually on the Dhamma path moving very fast. That's why a lot of other Kayamita, they have the condition, they have improved, but they are not that dead serious yet. So to be dead serious, like most of the Kayamita who has moved together with you, Brother Song Pocheng, and even Ingbi, they all, and many others, you are on a different movement. And then your understanding will keep on, I should say, keep on developing. That's why I say when the condition for next retreat, when it comes about, all of you people will stabilize and move very fast on that retreat. And a lot of things is going to happen during that retreat. So this is most beautiful. And today I received a phone call from another Kamita who actually called me personally to report her meditation, which is also very good, very good. And I rejoice with her ability. But that one still need a lot of guidance and understanding and hard work. But it's already a very good start, a very good sign or condition. Whereas that one also very, her mind also very strong, and she also very determined, and she is very sincere. It's also a lady. Yeah, you can continue, PG. Yeah.
Actually, Sister Pocheng is a very great inspiration for all of us.
Yeah, she was the first one.
Let's refer to her as a super rocket.
Yeah. Role model, role model, because people like her so new and doesn't know anything can just suddenly move like that. That's why it give a lot of inspiration to you all, to a lot of Kayamita.
Nowadays, Bracho, when I listen to Dharma itself, somehow it's very different. It's so much clearer.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, so much clearer.
And when I listen to the Dharma nowadays, it's like because it's so much clearer.
Yes, definitely.
I don't have much problem understanding what has been said.
Yes, definitely, because of what happened to you. Because of your cultivation also. Yes.
Virtue, I really want to make a sincere wish that in this lifetime, like what I said happened to me in sixth patriarch. I vow to do my best to complete my cultivation in this lifetime.
Wow, sadhu. Rejoice. Yeah. That strong determination and aspiration very important. Yeah.
Rachel, that's the vow I had to make.
Yeah. This is your miscellaneous additional vow. Yeah, very important. Yeah.
That's the vow I had to make to stop my crying. You know, the time when I was crying so hard. I just couldn't stop, and I don't know what to do. And this thing prompted me to make this vow.
Yes.
And after I made the vow, the crying stopped.
Yeah.
So I must make this sincere effort to complete my cultivation this lifetime.
Sadhu. Wow.
So I have to be very, very diligent to make
very good.
All the
it will happen because when you make the aspiration, the determination to actually fulfill the cultivation this life, you know what will happen? It will stabilize your nature's understanding so that in future life when you come, you got no more problem. You will have all this right view, right understanding and cultivation. Then your Bodhi mind, that one is very, very firm, very stable. That at any one time you arise, whether got sasana or no sasana, you will connect. Then at any time later on, where you hear the Six Patriarch Sutra or any Dhamma, the truth, then especially the sharing that we have done this life, this segment of our life as Kayanimittas, you will recognize, you will connect, and you will straight away understand, and you will know how to later on teach people, share all this. Yeah. Sadhu to you, and your vow will take off.
Thank you so much, Brother Teo. With your guidance and with the circumstances, I definitely will make my utmost effort.
Yeah, sadhu. My nature rejoice. Huh? Let us all rejoice. Huh? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Oh, very good, PG. Very, very good. Sadhu.
Good evening, Brother Teo. Sadhu. You and all Kayanimittas. Sadhu to PG for your
very good sharing.
Very good sharing and speed high speed train on your cultivation. Brother Teo, 其实最近我太多的事情要做，
不用紧的，
所以我的 cultivation 就是只能在我的 daily 里面，就是待人接事啊，还是你跟别人的interact，所有的细节里面去看到自己的 shortfall， 看到自己的所谓的贪嗔痴啊，就是你很多事情你会知道的，尤其是最近就是一直跟那些contractor 啊，还有就是那个那些 Indonesian boy 啊 就是你就是看到他们 他们跟我们就是他们没有做 cultivation， 跟我们有做 cultivation， 就是他们的处理事情的方式是跟我们是不一样的。
对
他们你可以看到他们在某一件事情里面，他们讲就是在那件事情里面，他的做法还有他的说法，就是在那个 condition 他就讲这样子的，
对，
然后你就看到如果有什么事情发生了他们就想办法开脱啊，就是然后找借口啊之类的。对。
That is the human nature.
对，所以我就看到这些就我讲然后我就没有跟他一般见识，然后他讲什么，我就让他先讲，讲完了之后呢，我就try to 用一个婉转一点的方法，然后就是把它带进去那个另外一个的说法，这样啦，就是就不要说两个人就闹起这样子
对，
就是这样子，所以 Brother 不容易，真的不容易，因为我们虽然我们听了很多佛法，可是
that's why 这一段 this phase you have to go through， 就好像 Christina 她也是 apply a lot of 好像你讲的咯 to deal with 她的 customer， to deal with people， to deal with worker，to deal with government department, all the funny character. 你一定要去在生活里面 within life itself to develop the cultivation. That's why 你看那个 Salika Sutta, it subdivide the defilement and the wrong view into 44. And 那个全部都要去 train because most people they start their cultivation in this way. So that's why you have to go through life to experience all this, to purify all this, and to understand all this. Whereas those who go the wisdom way, like I mentioned that day, we will go through the cultivation first, then we insight into the phenomena, we understand. Then from there, we come back and reverse the cultivation to develop the Noble Eightfold Path until it become a part of us, the embodiment, that one is easier. I mean, as a cultivator, it's easier. That's why for us, and even for some of you as Kayamita, with the development of the understanding of the teaching and the cultivation, then when you have awakened, all this become easier. Otherwise, it's not easy. Like the Salika Sutta, they start from there without the penetrative insight or the Yoniso Manasikara from the cultivation or the stability of contemplation, reflection, all those things. Just like you mentioned, Nasya worker, all those things, they cannot. Even you teach them how to cultivate, follow Salika Sutta, it takes them a long time. They will ask you a lot of these funny questions. Mengapa mau jujur? Why you want to be honest? Oh, they cannot understand. Why don't want to get angry? Why don't want to be stubborn? Because to them, like you say, they are conditioned like that, they will behave like that. Then they are motivated by what? To like make money, profit, and all those things. And they are by nature selfish. They don't have much love, compassion. But there are some, although they are in this condition, there is natural honesty and goodness in them. I have seen, but very rare, very, very rare. So all this is part and parcel of the daily life cultivation and interaction. That's why when you describe your condition, you don't have to worry, Alicia. Everyone go through different phase of life. 好像你讲，最近你很多东西要处理嘛 ，you have to deal with contractor, you have to deal with a lot of people, because your life involves all those things. But you still know how to make use of the cultivation in life itself to observe all this, which is also an aspect of cultivation which you will go through. Then later on, when the condition become more conducive, when you can devote more full-time commitment to do this, then you will move on to the stage where PG is developing. But at the moment, maybe this phase you have to go through. Which is not a problem because different time demand different type of cultivation. Then all this will unfold. That's why I always share with you all, everyone is different. Condition is different. Then it will flow in accordance with that condition. So for your case, it's already good enough. But make sure your daily religious routine, you maintain it. Otherwise, you will lose your mindfulness again. Then it takes a while to build it up. The daily mindfulness, the religious routine is important. Then you can at the same time go about doing your whatever daily life duty or career. Like last time, I remember 1987, 88, 89, I was working full-time as a civil engineer, and I work in an organization where there is a lot of issue, a lot of things to resolve, and they call it a madhouse. Then I was going through that career phase, which was very intense, and yet I developed the cultivation full-time. I resolve everything. And of course, the stability of mindfulness and understanding of the Dhamma is very important. So at that time, I was lucky because I was able to connect back and then develop the understanding. Then after 1989, everything become clear. Then I can move. Then I can make a lot of decisions. That's why I resigned from that very comfortable, very stable job to come out into the private sector to test myself because I saw the sign, the condition. Then I make that move. Then after that, I moved to another phase of my life, which was most beautiful because after 1989, it was the Pativeda phase, the third phase of Dhamma, where I apply the understanding, where I get to live the life of a Arya, to actually face all these things and test myself and to do whatever my nature wants to do. So all this become very beautiful. Yeah, you can continue, Alicia.
Brother Teo, I think 我的 condition 是要这样子走过来的，所以我就没有说很怎样讲，就是我就接受，就说因为我以为我还有几年我就能够退休。
OK， 了解。
可是因为我的孩子要把这个还有那个生意要expand，so like 我跟你讲的那个厂我不要买，本来不要买，因为3个 condition 到最后他还是来，所以就 OK 啦，就 OK 啦，我就讲 OK 啦，那就买吧，这样子，所以所以就又一个 commitment， then after that
那个 commitment is going to take a lot of your time，
对，then 另外一个就是另外一个朋友的生意，因为他是不要做了，然后又叫我们接手这样子，然后哇，我就心想OK 不用紧。然后我就讲我可以安排我的时间 ，you know，and then you know，有时我在想，我是不是有一点高估了我自己？
不会啦，这个是因缘法嘛，你看到有 condition， then you manifest， 因为你有那个 ability to help your son, Freddie, and your family， 因为你有了佛法 ，you can do that， So the condition is right, and you will know how to move, which is very beautiful. So all this is also doing your duty as a mother, as a wife, and also as a spouse. So all these are very beautiful. So 很好啊，
所以我就尽量吧，我就尽量的。有时我做到整身好像没有什么就很tired的时候我就哎呀，要不要放手一点？可是第二天他又恢复了那个 mind 就是这样子，所以你就是
it will continue.
对，因缘法就是
mind is very strong because you are doing your duty out of love for your family, for your children, and also for the good of all humanity, including your friend and all of that. You will know how to do this work. So 这个是你的immediate role, and this is what we call your duty. The form and mind duty this life, and if you can do it well, it will also be part of your good cultivation, and it will show up. Then all this will turn around and manifest into something beautiful, because 你也是 relatively 还 quite young 了，不是很年轻了 but relatively 还是可以年轻。So because of that, you have that strength, that mind. Your mind is very strong, and 你已经有了佛法，这个 role you can play, and you can do it, and it will turn out to be beautiful. So continue and go ahead. Then you will know how to like slowly hand over to your son, your daughter-in-law, and whoever who can take over. So you will know how to delegate all this and train them up. Then you need to really hire somebody who is good or efficient, get them. Because if the business can sustain, no problem. So all this, I think you know how to develop it, because you have that ability. You have helped Freddie a lot and build up his business. So now your son want to grow it further, which is very good. Then you also have the plantation. The plantation also take quite a bit of your time, I think. Yeah, you can continue, Alicia.
Yeah, radio. 因为你 understand 那个好像你身体啊，就是你不会太执着这个身体了。
对，
身体累的时候就休息，然后
对，
它只是一个，其实有时身体累还是痛啊，只是一个感觉罢了。然后你不在乎它，就说你不把你的脉抓在那边哦，你一下子就又没事了。
没事了的，because you are at this phase where your body know how to rest and recuperate. Then you have the Dhamma, that's why 你不会去执着它。Then you have the drive to do all this. That's why I say you are going through that phase where you are doing your duty. It's just like that time when I was working. I not tired on. They say it's a madhouse. You put 10 engineers also cannot handle one, but I handle it alone. I resolve everything alone, and of course with some of my staff. Then together, I actually come up with the understanding to simplify and streamline the whole operation. I standardize a lot of the contract that we supposed to call and award into annual contract. The annual contract helped me resolve a lot of my unnecessary time wasted on getting code calling, tender, awarding, and signing, like a signing machine. So I standardized the annual contract and simplify the workflow. Then my staff are very happy because they have this condition to appoint the annual contractor to do the work. So no need to go and get code, tender, everything. So everything was simplified. So for your case, yes, learn to delegate and simplify things. Then train your children, your daughter-in-law, and whoever. Then hand over slowly. Then you will have more and more time for yourself. Then you will develop the joy, because when you see them successful, you have the joy. You have done your duty well. 很好啊，沙豆。
不是就是以前不是就讲我们自己会 develop 自己的 additional wow，
对，
原来是真的会的。
沙豆，说现在你有加了什么？
我的 additional wow 就是如果我有这个 ability， 我希望能够帮助那些有病就医病，没病就医心那种人。
哇，沙豆，哇，很好啊，很好啊。
好的，你那天我说我的 Bodhisattva wow， 他就这个 additional wow 出来，我讲，难怪的就讲你自己会。
很好，他会 manifest 出来的。有病就医病，没病就医心 ，which is very good. This is what humanity need. A lot of people has a lot of sickness. It's just like now Dr. Jayanta is doing a good job because it's total medical approach, not the one-sided medication, drug, everything. It's a total medical approach, which is very good. So 他是 at the moment 医心医那个病then later on he will slowly evolve into what you want to do, help people 医心 that one he has to strengthen his Dhamma base. So he is doing it, which is very good. That's why some of you all will go this way. 沙丢很好啊。还有什么
Brother Joe， 你记得那个Brother 水安介绍我们去看那个中医有没有？那个中医那个 Dr. Lisa 那个安哥
对。
我记得我有一次我带我的姐姐去看她的时候，那时候我的姐姐是来神志不清的时候嘛，那时候我带她去看她，然后那个 Dr. Lee 就讲，你跟我是同一类人，我讲哈，
沙丢，哇，很好啊，他感觉得到。
他讲你跟我是同一类人，然后我蒙查查，我讲哈。 我什么都不会，我不懂，是不是？我也不懂他讲什么。可是后来我想这个 wow manifest 的时候，我想应该是因为我慢慢 evolve 可能会有这个 ability 啦，我不知道啦。
他也感觉到啊，
可能是这样。
他跟你我们是同一个什么？同一类的哈，同一类 means doing the same thing. Sadhu, sadhu. Very good. That's why the additional vow will come. That's why the cultivator, the individual will come out with their own respective vow. Yeah, this is what they want to do. Like PG, he determined this life, complete the cultivation, so that in future no more problem. But this understanding during this asana, to her is very important. She saw it so clearly. That's why her nature can have that determination, that vow. That's why when she make that vow, that thing move. And when it comes to the four basic vow, the third vow, perfection of wisdom, that one really stir and move. For her to have such movement is from her past, her nature. That's why, based on what she described and shared, she is moving very fast, like you say, high-speed train, really, bullet train, really, bullet train. It's going so fast because her understanding of the cultivation suddenly like become very clear, very, very clear. And everything she now focus on is very beautiful. According to what I have advised, and she able to pick them up. Even while listening to Brother Song sharing, she able to pick all this important point out. Then, of course, like she say, the inspiration come from Po Cheng. Po Cheng that time really, even my nature also surprised at the way she understand things and progress. Because she was actually very new and doesn't know anything. But yet she can develop that understanding and connect because she very sincere and she determined. Not much time left. That's why the urgency of cultivation. She contemplated on that. And she really moved. Very good. 很好。
其实是真的，因为是 Po Cheng really inspire 我们，真的是要很 diligent 的去走，对，
好像他讲嘛，他都可以，谁不可以 ？Because she is also very new that time. She really doesn't know a lot of things. When she came to the retreat first time, I remember, she know next to nothing. The whole Dhamma, everything is like very new to her, and she learned. And even until now, she learned. Salika Sutta to her is so new, but it's so amazing. She enjoyed the sutta. That's why that thing will attract her. And this is the phase she is going through. She is like a very new sponge that can absorb a lot of Dhamma water. Keep on absorbing. So 现在她听的东西，闻到的cultivate 行到的 everything become very beautiful to her, and she had a lot of joy, and she keep on developing the joy, the understanding, then her nature keep on moving, evolving. That's why it's very different for every kilometer. You look at all the diversity of cultivation, now you start to see and you start to understand. Very different. Even Brother Song also different. Then now Chin Hao, even Amy, and many other Kayamita. Even Christina has her own way. Then Padmasri, they have their own way. Then even our Brother Tio, you don't look at him quiet. He understands a lot of things and he knows how to apply. That's why you see his life change. The family life also change. So all these are very beautiful. Even I think you start to see a lot of Kayamita starting to have different intention and understanding. Even Chipolian also volunteered to do the transcript now. I was very surprised, and he did the transcript quite well. Then I think a number of Kayamita also started to do the voluntary work for helping to do the transcript, like Sister Sandra, Brother Chia's wife. She is doing. I think this is the second book. Then there are other Kayamita who also on their own develop the cultivation. That I mentioned just now. Today somebody report to me, one of the Kayamita, the meditation reporting was very good. Then I shared with her what happened and all those things. But this is the beginning, which is very good. So I said, as you continue to develop the understanding, then the key is to relax into it, develop the awareness, and let the thing happen. So the force support through trust, let it happen. So all this, they are unfolding, and a lot of Kayamita are actually very serious about the cultivation, which my nature rejoice. Sadhu to all them. 还有什么吗？Alicia？
But 就 actually， 因为通过这个 cultivation 呢，我们的 mind 是most of the time 是很 peaceful、很 silent、很 quiet 的嘛。
很 quiet。
当你某一件事情发生，或者你被某一个一个境界situation 影响你的时候你会感觉很不舒服。所以你会很 dead serious 的要 liberation。所以我个人认为是很重要啦，因为我之前的生活方式跟现在的生活方式是
不一样
的，是可以讲是完全是
world of difference
of difference 嘛。所以我真的是很想liberate 这个，就是说我要了生死，我不要在这个samsara每天跟这些
对
就好像以前我来讲的
痛苦的游戏
太痛苦了，
太痛苦了，玩够了，我不要玩了。
不要，够了。
Which is very true. That's why 你看得到then 你会了解。But for you, you went through suffering. You went through that 16 years of depression and suffering. That's why you saw suffering, like what we share today from the Sutra of Infinite Meaning. Witnessing suffering will give rise to the understanding that we will have gratitude towards our blessing. Then we will actually go all out to cultivate and liberate our mind, because enough of this suffering, enough of this 痛苦的游戏 the game of suffering. Because when you create the wrong thought, the heedless thinking, you actually condition negativity of mind state. That's how suffering and affliction arise. That's how life become afflicted, become miserable. So all this a cultivator will see, like what you mentioned just now as a cultivator. After you have stabilized all this, your mind are most of the time peaceful, quiet, tranquil, away, still. And it can have the understanding. That's why you will see all this very clearly. Then you will determine to liberate. And it will happen because we are in the sasana. And most of the Kayamita has the affinity, the triple gem. The only thing is you all need to move your own way, strive on with heedfulness, do your cultivation, following your own nature, your own whatever affinity with the triple gem and your vow, and they will take you along. So doing the Bodhisattva vow and stabilizing is very important. You can see the result already from Po Cheng, from Song, from Sister PG and all these people. So those who do the Bodhisattva vow, they are seeing the great result. That this vow, like is mentioned in the Sutra, by taking the Bodhisattva vow alone, the merits is immeasurable. That itself, planting the seed of Bodhi deep into our nature, that wholesomeness is beyond measure. It brings along a lot of blessings, a lot of very meritorious condition for Dhamma to flow, for the cultivation to actually take on a greater intensity, which is totally different. 很好，沙特，
I do Bradil，
yeah.
还有就是 before Bradil share 这个 Salika Sutta 的时候，前一阵子因为某一些事情的发生哦，然后到最后我 understand 的就是别人做什么我们不管，我们就是管好我们自己，不要跟别人一般见识就是对。
对。
所以我后来我看了少林克斯他，哇，原来里面还有这么 details 的。
Yeah， 很 detail 的 mind state。
Yes， 很 details。还有就是感恩 Brother Joe share 这个少林克斯他非常好。还有就是感谢 Sister 伯清把那个 pointers 把它列出来
，summarize 起来。
对，让我们很清楚的知道。
对，
就是帮助我们啦 I mean helping us to
understand
it。
Also， 你们应该感谢 Ingbi Sister， 因为他找到这个 Sutta， then 他 send it to me， then I remember I promised to share again。She make the request。So 感恩 Sister Ingbi。
感恩 Sister Ingbi， 萨土，感恩阿弥陀佛。感觉很 blessed 啦，我能够在这里跟Bradil 的 Bradil and all the guidance 我真的是要更加努力吧。
萨土，
感恩
感恩阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛。
Very good， 阿弥陀佛。